We finished our major changes and processing. Now after that you could decide which part you need to readjust for overall lighting, colors, detail enhancements or so. I hold on the Shift Control, Alt or Shift Command option on Mac and press E to make copy merge. Right click, convert it to Smart Object. Let's first add few details enhancement, filter, camera raw filter. First check the auto button is working fine or not. Yes, actually it is good. And now I could make the whole tone temperature warmer a bit, not too intense. And in details, you could add sharpening a bit, texture and clarity to increase details enhancement. I think getting too much, maybe less exposure, but more contrast. I don't want to make the whole scene too bright. Maybe 25. Okay. Vibrance is too much. I decrease it. You could decrease also saturation. Okay. Let's press OK for now, just to check before and after. Now you could apply a lot of things. For example, I could posterize it. I could duplicate this layer. Go to filter, filter gallery. Just make sure your image on working it is 8 bits. Image mode and 8. Else filter gallery won't work. So filter and filter gallery. Control or Command 0. Check here, we have a lot of effects. You could combine them together. For example, in Sketch, we have a lot of effects, which it is useful in many cases. For example, graphite. Look here. I could add another effect layer and apply another one. Tweak values, for example, density, foreground level, background level. But I don't like this one, so I remove it. Okay. And you could try with different blending mode, something like overlay, decrease opacity. You see, you made some kind of a sketch mode or pastel mode, or even I could change instead of overlay, for example, linear dodge or color dodge and make it a bit darker to not get so bright. It is very simple. Okay, I think it cancelled again. And decrease opacity. Even you could blend a solid color. For example, I make a solid color very different, maybe this time green, just to show you how it is working, not too saturated and not too bright. And change the blending mode, something like color dodge, linear dodge, overlay. You see, it is blending and giving overall tint. And you could even apply some different mask here. For example, filter, render. I give this time fiber just as an example. You could make it randomized. Variance and strength. Okay. You see, we made different mask for here. You could even blend it. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and mix them to have some variation. And I could change the color now. Bluish, magenta, red, yellow, orange, any color you need. Maybe something like that. Even you could double click and make it brighter or darker. For example, imagine I think this is nice, but not for the middle part. So I could again make it a smart object, add a mask, and maybe this time gradient, radial gradient, and draw, something like that. See, we made some vignette effect, but this time with some effect. Allow me to uncheck reverse to make it the correct one. Okay. Even you could unlink the mask, press Ctrl or Command T, and just transform the mask. Make it oval and larger. Okay. And I press Ctrl or Command M for mask, and even I could make it more visible or less visible. Anyway, that was just a quick demonstration how you could work. And as I mentioned before, you could apply a lot of layer adjustments like gradient map. Even, for example, I choose some preset. Allow me to bring some, for example, orange or red. Imagine I apply this one and change the blending mode. Something like hue, overlay, vivid light. Sometimes they are nice but too intense, so you could decrease opacity a lot. For example, see, 15%, give overall tint, or just try different types. I think even hard light could be work here. And other layer adjustments like color lookup. You could adjust it, different color, different LUTs. You could just check. You see, immediately something like horror blue. You could change the blending mode on color to make sure it is correct. And maybe decrease opacity a bit, around 40%. And even you need more, you could simply duplicate the layer and affect more. And photo filter, set on color again, and change any type you like. Maybe deep blue and affection. About 35%. Allow me to check. Yeah, it is just a different version. Thanks for watching. See you in next chapter.